I would say some of the biggest landmark shows that we've had, I can narrow it down to a few. The first and foremost being our first show in 1977. The build-up to what happened for the culmination of that opening night is pretty incredible. Thinking about what the investors put in for all of this, the amount of money and then the time, to also our original owners and operators, Ross Haley, Jody Sarbaugh, Dwayne Sarbaugh, and establishing a brand new company and this new idea of dinner theater in this area. And it was really something that was just a labor of love that culminated with that opening, and that was the starting point from which we grew. Fast forward a few years, Chess in 1990 is one that sticks out to me a lot because it was kind of the unofficial changing of the guard. We had a bunch of folks who had been with the company since its inception in 1977, some transient actors coming into the company, but that was really when we had a lot of people who most of our audience knows started during or around that show. People like Wayne Kennedy, A.K. Klimke, Bryn Baron, Scott Bayette, Joni Brousseau, Shelley Cox-Roby, really becoming mainstays here in our building. And so that's one that really sticks out to me as well. After that, I would say another big one, Joseph, 2004. It was a big deal because it was a changing of the guard. We had new and old with our owner Gene Boles, who was one of the original investors, and his wife Judy purchasing the company and making sure that it would be able to move forward. And then putting Michael Duran as the producing artistic director. Michael had started with the company as the original Joseph in 1977 and then really pushed us into a new era, one that we were able to do so many new things and push our limits and the boundaries of everything and really help carry the story along to where it is today. One of the big ones that stands out for me also is coming back from the pandemic. Forever Plaid in 2021 was it was a smaller show. It was something that we didn't get to reach a whole bunch of audience because we had to have 50 feet between our actors and the audience, but the look on people's faces when we were actually finally able to reconnect with them and establish that connection, and them coming and seeing what they felt like was old friends on stage performing for them was pretty incredible. It was and the efforts that were put in by every single person in this building to make sure that we got to that point, some of which were working pro bono. They were working for pennies on the dollar to just make sure that we were able to get back, which really solidified the whole family aspect of the building for me. And then last, I can't really say just one show, but this final season has been just a culmination really of what this theater has been for not only us as a company, but for our patrons as well. Doing shows like we started or finished the year out last year with like Church Basement Ladies and Buddy Holly. Church Basement Ladies having people who were like original company members, Barb Reeves and Wayne Kennedy and those folks doing that show, and then being able to do a new show, a new title that we had never done before in Something Rotten, which was hugely successful with a bunch of people who were just bunch of people who were coming back and some new folks, and getting a chance for some of our mainstays like Bob Hoppe to have a lead in a final season, and Brian Cronin and Alicia Myers just being brilliant as she always is. And then that's parlayed into Sound of Music, which has been the most requested show by our audience over the past 10 years. And then finally at the culmination with Fiddler, which for us, the whole thing about Fiddler is tradition, and that's what BDT's biggest deal has been for the community, is the tradition that we have established in this company of bringing the highest quality of entertainment to our patrons. And also the thing with Fiddler is that it's very much about family, and BDT is just a very large family. I've had a very interesting perspective and seat to watch the evolution of this place in the community, from its productions and the artistic direction that it's gone in for several different years. I mean, we have always established since Ross and Jody and Dwayne that it's a community-based place that wants to engage in the community and bring pieces that will help that community engage, or take them away for an evening, or make them think. And that was continued with Michael. Michael, very much, he wanted to push the boundaries. He wanted to push bigger and better. Larger dance numbers, larger production numbers, making sure that every little bit was just that moniker of Broadway in Boulder. That's what we were giving to people when they walked in and out. And then for me, it's kind of been an amalgamation of all of those things. I have really wanted to make sure that with like the large production numbers, and then making sure that we have the old-time favorites for our audiences, and just, you know, really making sure that we keep the legacy of what has been built to now up to date, and then also try and move towards the future with new titles and new experiences for our audience. There's been many things that we've had to adapt to over the years because of changes in the community and changes just in the overall, just what the world is. Our business was a very different thing pre 9/11, and after 9/11 it took us, you know, we had to build to get back to the audiences coming out, because there was just the thing of, I mean, people were scared. It was a very hard time in our country, and we worked through it, and with the leadership of Ross, through all those things, we got back. And then we got to the recession of 2008, and that was very difficult for us. We had numbers that were some of the lowest of all time because people just couldn't afford to come out and be entertained. And it's one of those things that actually, when you have that weight on you in the world, it's the thing that's the most important. So continued to weather the storm with Gene Boles and our ownership, and I mean, our accountants have to have a shout out. Jeremy Campion doing the numbers balancing that he did during that time to keep us open, and Michael Duran for his leadership is something it can't be forgotten. And then again, with the pandemic, coming back from that, and then coming to now where we have the very successful season to be going out on a high note. To say what has made the theater successful over the past 46 years, 100% comes down to the people. Every single person who has ever walked through the door has given a piece of themselves for the greater good, for really trying to make this business successful. We've had a lot of people who have made their lives here, and I personally grew up here, and to watch throughout the years of just, we change, we do different shows, and bringing in new audiences, old audiences, all of that sort of like. There's just a lot of people that stand out for that, and the people, the family, that's what I'm most proud about. For 46 years, and this may sound biased, but it's true, we have had the greatest performers, we have had some of the best productions, we have had the greatest technicians, the greatest staff of any theater company in the state of Colorado. I would put our people up against anybody. And that has created something that is a little different than all theater companies. Every theater company has their family that they, you know, that you're walking, you come back, you're a member of the family. BDT takes that to another level. It's And it may be just due to the fact that the actors were waiting tables, the technicians were waiting tables, everybody was also either working the box office, up in the office, everybody was around each other so much that it was just, everybody was just shoulder to shoulder for 46 years, which when I say that it's my family, it's not just my theater family, it's my family, and we are all family. And it's because of that family that we have been able to accomplish what we have in 46 years. And also for our audience members, who we got to see them bring their families here and watch their families grow over 40 years. We have people who have been, they brought their kids now bring their kids, or their kids' kids bring their kids. It's generational spanning for a theater company, and we've gotten to know them on a personal level. They know us, and yeah, it's something that I'm proud of everybody's part in that over the years, and that being the lasting legacy of BDT Stage, Boulder's Dinner Theater.